Monday the 13th of September, reflections. So we started off today by talking about what we wanted to be doing or be able to do or have done by certain points. So by the end of half term, by the end of Christmas, by the end of the year, in 5 years' time. I put for this term, be on top of work, try get a distinction, get comfortable or have an understanding of Shakespeare and be ready for performances. And then I put by Christmas, have a good performance, work well as a company. So then after that we did a warm-up, so just a bit of like sway and stretching like we normally do, just to warm up the body. We then practiced some like Stanislavski, like remembering his system. So we had to swap coats or wear one of the brought in coats that Matt had done. So I used this red coat, and then we had to practice how we put on the coat, how we zipped it up. And then the reason why we used someone else's coat is so we didn't really know how to do it, and it was a brand new coat, so we had to learn how to do it. We then put the coat on, then took the coat off and practiced doing that. Then we thought about what was the preparation, and then how did we start the movement, and then how we ended the movement. Stuff like this, like how did we put it on, how did we put it off. We then added purpose. So we started off by doing it slowly and deliberately, as if it was like an old coat that we didn't want to accidentally rip. So this, I also felt like I didn't breathe properly when I did this, like I was like holding in my breath. Then we did it quickly and casually, like we had done it a million times. It just felt natural after a while doing it quickly and deliberately. And then we did it some other different ways. I feel like that was a really good exercise to do because you don't realise how you're doing something until you do it. And you like actually focus on all the movements. But we've also got to think like if we've got a prop, we have to put it on properly, because if you're not putting the coat on properly and thinking about how you're putting the coat on, then it's not going to look as natural, if you get me. We then went on to application of stage combat. So we used foam sticks to practice the movements. So we went from the right corner, round the head to the left corner, round the head down to the bottom right, and then round the head to the bottom left. Then we jump back. Learning this is really fun and something I've never done before, and I really enjoyed doing it because I feel like there's not many chances of doing stage combat. So even though I'm not everyone will be doing stage combat, it just depends on who they're casting in groups and what groups we're in for the Shakespeare work. But it was just fun learning how to do it if I ever needed it again. After break, we then did some vocal exercises. So this time we did it laying on the floor, and we did some just normal breathing. Take 4 in, hold for 4, out for 4. We then added some vocalization, so like ooh, that kind of stuff. I think doing it on the floor is good because it helps reach like differently. But yeah, we then spoke about vocal expression in elevated language. So we watched 2 videos. One was Judi Dench doing a Lady Macbeth monologue, and it doesn't even sound like she was speaking Shakespearean because it just sounded so natural to her, and the way she was adding like anger or like confusion, it just seemed like she was just talking like I am right now, which is somewhere I'd really hope to be for the production when we do the Shakespeare stuff, because at the moment I feel like I'm just reading a foreign language when really it just has a few words said differently, or it's not like proper Englishly said. Yeah. We then spoke about like intonation that happens in Shakespeare. So we read the Queen Mab speech, which is, "Oh, then I seen Queen Mab hath been with you. She's the fairies' midwife, and she comes." So there were some words that were like in bold, which are ones you add more intonation. So we practiced going, "Oh, then I see Queen Mab hath been with you. She's the fairies' midwife, and she comes." Like that sort of thing. And then trying to make it sound more natural in a sense. After lunch, we then played a quick game of The Floor Is. So the floor would, when it was lava, obviously, we would have to then find something and get off the floor. But the floor also became ice. So how would you react when you're on ice? You would walk very slowly with little steps, like not big steps. At one point, the floor was very thin glass, so you're like kind of tiptoeing. And then the floor was also broken glass. How would you walk on broken glass? Have you got shoes on? Like that's the sort of stuff you got to think about. Like if I've got shoes on, I'm walking on broken glass normally, but with a bit of caution. If I got no shoes on, I'm trying to avoid that broken glass at all costs. So you got to think about that sort of stuff. We also then walked around the theatre, just walking around observing everything. Then we all left the theatre, and then Matt turned all the lights off and we all came in. We still had to observe. What I noticed is when the room was darker, I felt like I was taking more slower, more deliberate steps. And then we had to try walk around the room quietly. So I feel like I noticed that my feet were going toe, heel, heel, toe. And that was how I found made it best for me to walk quietly. And then I feel like my body tensed as well, which is something like I wouldn't have known if I pretended the room was dark, that kind of thing. After that, we then just did some written work in the computer suite, and that was the end of Monday.